let's go to the next Fed slopper in chief, who's just out there promoting the TPUSA position day in, day out. I have no idea why. Mama, it's just true, mama. It's just true. Brandon Tatum. Oh, is that him on the TPUSA list of contributors? Meaning you're probably, in all likelihood, almost certainly getting paid $10,000, $20,000 a month, probably. That's the rumor. To shovel TPUSA doo-doo down people's throats? Yes. That's exactly what that means here. So we actually know when he started shoveling TPUSA doo-doo. We have a note right here. This is when the doo-doo shoveling started. For immediate release. Brandon is back, baby. TPUSA welcomes back Blexit co-founder Brandon Mama Tatum as the newest contributor. Dateline Phoenix. Turning Point USA thrilled to announce that Brandon Tatum, co-founder of the Blexit movement, former Tucson police officer. Wasn't there some fort in Tucson? Is there a fort in Tucson? Is there some fort in Tucson? There's some fort in Tucson, I think. Former Tucson police officer and prominent's doing a lot of heavy lifting there. Prominent conservative commentator has rejoined TPUSA as the newest addition to its growing team of contributors. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So we even have a date when the doo-doo shoveling began again for Brandon Tatum. So if Graham Allen's out there shoveling doo-doo, he's on the payroll. He's apparently a Fed, or at least all evidence seems to point to he's a Fed. Brandon Tatum on the payroll. You guys want to know how badly he's shoveling the Fred swap? Here is a tweet from 2 hours ago. This is like day in and day out for this guy. This gives these guys, they love this stuff. They love this stuff. They love misrepresenting evidence. They love acting like this is an open and shut case. This is just 2 hours ago. This is Mama Tatum. Tyler Robinson's defense isn't going to argue about trap doors or exploding microphones because they know the prosecution has a mountain of DNA. What's a mountain of DNA? Like, if we're being honest, what's a mountain of DNA? DNA is pretty tiny. It's like a molecule, right? I mean, it's tiny, teeny little DNA. You can't even see DNA. What is a mountain of DNA? Now, they got a mountain of DNA. They also have surveillance and Discord evidence against him. Guys, let's just take these three real quickly, just because I didn't even plan to do this, but I'm going to. Let's just go through these one at a time, because this is so boring. These people bore me to tears. It's his gun. I have a number of firearms. I have a knife addiction. Everything I own has my DNA on it. Everything. If you took a weapon out of my house, it's going to have my DNA on it. I just promise you it's going to. So that's not very compelling evidence as I see it. Surveillance. I've seen the surveillance, sir. I've seen the surveillance that Kash Patel admitted was enhanced. And I've seen the surveillance that Kash Patel did not admit was enhanced. And it looked like, it could have been a 5'3" black woman. It could have been a 5'9" Hispanic guy. It could have been a 6 foot tall Chinese guy. It could have been a 6'3" white guy. You can't tell what that is running across the roof. You just can't tell. So that surveillance footage doesn't mean much. And Discord evidence. Oh, we talked about the Discord evidence. Officer, sir, senor, Mr. Tatum. If it turns out he was in custody before the Discord evidence was created, is that going to change your opinion you're giving on this video here? This is an open and shut case. Well, I'm glad he's no longer on the police force. And the defense is simply trying to secure a life sentence instead of the death penalty. I don't believe that's true at all. I believe this is a paid-for TPUSA spin. They're getting their money's worth. They're getting their money's worth. Let's just take a sneak peek. I don't even know what this is going to say. We're watching this live. We'll live react together, guys.
You cannot, in a reality, in a world that we live in, that's reality. You cannot make astronomical, outrageous claims without evidence.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. That's all I'm going to show. I can't listen to him. That is one guy I cannot listen to. I absolutely cannot. You know who else can't listen to him? TPUSA. Watch this. This is from the TPUSA texting archives. We don't break these out very often. We should break these out more. This is a text conversation that we got leaked. Marina Minas, who is in front of them in the two big ones. They're talking about the positioning, where the tent's going to be positioned, where the booth's going to be positioned at a TPUSA event. This is a TPUSA employee. Says, rumble on the left side, to be determined on the right side. Usually RAV, that's Real America's Voice, but can't have them there if Brandon Tatum is there. Fox or possibly Salem. I don't know why Real America's Voice can't be there if Brandon Tatum's there. I haven't had a chance to follow up on that. Would be easier if we didn't have Brandon at all. Kind of a headache. Bro, they hate you. We haven't even shown the Alex Clark ones yet. You'll love those when we get to those. Kind of a headache, this Brandon Tatum guy. Oh, we should have him being one of the major people that defends us out there in public while we're trash talking him and doo-doo talking him behind the scenes. Kind of a headache, that Brandon Tatum is. Kind of a headache. Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. Gosh, it's great getting inside information sometimes. I can't help it. We've been very disciplined, by the way. We could have shown a lot of these, and we have not. I don't feel like the principal. She's sitting on way more. I feel a little like the principal, though. You know, she sits on this mountain of DNA, this mountain of evidence, and she just sort of slowly every now and then leaks a little piece out, lets them go crazy. Like fish. You ever throw something overboard? You're out in the ocean and you throw something overboard, and all the fish just, they go crazy. That's what the Fed sloppers do every time Candace gets on air. So that's another person that's a paid Fed slopper. Speaking of paid Fed sloppers, I want to go back in time. And I want to look at just a few little tweets here. Nothing crazy. Just a few little tweets about TPUSA from our good friend, Paralyzed Testicle. Here he is. Paramount in Practical. Here he is. Just talking about TPUSA starting in mid-October or so. I think it was TPUSA drone getting video content. According to TPUSA, UVU didn't want them flying drones. UVU doesn't have the authority given the FAA-controlled airspace, but they may have acquiesced out of courtesy. Okay, so he's just doing a little drone lifting here. I think you're missing the point here. If it was as simple as a block and move on, we would not be having this conversation. It's calls from hundreds of people, threats via DMs, emails, exciting harassment, or worse. Blake Bednarz has pictures of his family posted with claims he was affiliated with TPUSA and part of a cover-up. So that Paramount Impractical out there defending Blake Bednarz, friend of the show. New images and photos coming out every day. This is October 9th. Do you really believe what was blasted all over the internet in the first couple of days or even weeks with the thousands of phones and professional photographers and videographers on the ground was all there was? I actually suspect that TPUSA or people within, in an attempt to clear these guys, leaked these photos. But that's speculation. It's embarrassing that people would try and convict these guys in public opinion of murdering their friend, boss, and colleague with so little evidence. It's un-American. So this is, now you're beginning to see the turn. This is Gary doing the turn. So we've been able to pinpoint about the time Gary made the turn and started becoming a TPUSA shill. Well, that was mild shilling. By November, he was an all-out baller for TPUSA. I mean, a flat-out baller. And it's just gotten heavier and thicker ever since. Gary, I don't know if you realize this, Gary. You can actually search Twitter and look back and see you evolve over time. This is November 27. Oh, speak out for those at TPUSA and Charlie's security team. That she is libeled and accused of murder for 2 months, putting them in extreme danger. They're getting death threats too. Do you care about them? That talk, talking about Candace, obviously. The left and right hatred. The left and right hated Trump, and by extension, Charlie Kirk. Now they're trying to finish off TPUSA to ensure a DNC takeover in 2028. He had all his talking points down by this point. See, in October, he was flailing around trying to figure out what were the talking points he was supposed to have. Here he is, bad-mouthing Candace Owens back in November. Long way. Is this good faith question or clear accusation? A decision was made to murder Charlie, a decision that had to be approved by Charlie's friends. Who made it? Where's the evidence? Friends, TPUSA, a reasonable person would assume that. Where's the evidence you have that brought you to this conclusion? So he's in the process of turning here. This is Gare Bear. We love Gary. We love Gary. We love Gary so much because of the service he gave to our country. Not as a Green Beret, of course, but as a defense contractor where he was paid off. Excuse me. I don't want to say that. Where he was given a contract that started 14 days. You can see that right here on the right-hand side. 14 days after the Charlie Kirk assassination. And you get a little bit there. And another contract just 4 days later. That one was for only $39,000. This one here was on September 29th to Impractical. And this one was for $151,000. So between 14 and 18 days, 19 days after Charlie Kirk's assassination, Gary gets a hefty dose of federal contracting, and all of a sudden he is TPUSA's best friend. I found Gary shortly. I'd never heard of Gary before, but I found Gary shortly after Charlie Kirk went down because I didn't understand the ballistics of what a 30-06 could and couldn't do. So I was watching a lot of videos. I thought it was an awfully hefty rifle. I've fired a 30-06 before. It's like shooting a cannon. Feels a little bit on your shoulder like shooting a cannon. I've seen what it does to animals. Bigger than a human neck. You're talking like exit wounds. And so I just thought, that doesn't seem right to me. So I started looking at supposed experts, and I came across the Kandahar Giant there, Paramount and Practical. And he was just dead on about this stuff. No way it's a 30-06. I can't imagine it's a 30-06. A 30-06 would leave an exit wound. We have huge questions about this. It can't possibly have been that. Well, now he's the biggest supporter of the 30-06 narrative in the world. And he constantly points to, Martin Luther King got shot with 30-06. It didn't leave an exit. Yeah, it did leave an exit wound, actually, Paramount. It actually did. It entered his face. It left his lower jaw, left and was back in the air, and then it entered his neck. And then it went down through more bones and organs and muscle tissue, and it finally lodged all the way back here by his scapula. And so it actually did have an exit wound after smashing one of the hardest bones in the body, the skull. But I digress. So this is just an example of people that, if you're just scrolling X, you may not know these are bought and paid for shills. You may not know these people are paid off. You might think these guys are out there just hustling, trying to get an audience like the rest of us. No, not at all. That's not at all what they're doing.